In this video, we're going to talk about how to love students who have behavioral challenges. Hey, my name's Jacob here with Servants Not Professionals, and I work with youth. And let me tell you, I've made a lot of stupid mistakes, especially regarding this topic. So if you're a youth leader or a director, this is for you. This video will give you a helpful outlook to handle one of the most dreaded, wrongfully so, but also most needed youth demographics. So let's do it. Students with behavioral challenges are those who are disruptive, disobedient, disrespectful, and clearly don't want to be there, or who want to be there just to distract people. You might know them as problem students, which don't use that term. That's a horrible term. Or you might also know them as class clowns. But let me tell you from personal experience, there is hope. Those kinds of students have actually become students that I end up being closest with in youth ministry. Often, students who act out in services come from broken personal situations, and I have plenty of heartbreaking home stories from these students. See, students often act out when they are in need of attention or affirmation, and often they act out which results in attention and affirmation, but it results in the wrong kind. Negative attention from authority and positive attention from their peers for disobeying authority. And what we want to do is to counter that by giving them positive attention and positive affirmation. Let me tell you, there's no such thing as a bad kid. See, kids practice bad behaviors, but there's no such thing as a good kid or a bad kid. Don't make those connections in your mind. There is no good kid, there is no bad kid. There's just kids. And some kids practice good behaviors and some kids practice bad behaviors. See, according to the Bible, every kid is actually horrible and rotten, just like us. The Bible says our hearts are desperately wicked. We search out evil things to do. Which means, unless you're going to label every kid as evil, you shouldn't label them at all. Because you know what? God pursues us and pursues those students anyways. If you're going to label the kids in your mind, you must not label kids as good or bad in your mind. Every student in your ministry needs to be labeled loved in your mind. Because in the truest sense, that is what they are. They are loved and pursued by God. Really loved by God, just like you and me. I have many, many heartbreaking stories of students coming from broken personal lives. This is especially true at the youth age, where students are deciding who they are, who they're not, and where their community is. And let me tell you, I've made a lot of stupid mistakes. I remember one time I had to move a student. Okay, they were distracting their friends, so I moved them to the back of the room, and guess what? They started acting so goofy that they distracted the entire room of a few dozen kids. Way worse because I moved them. And you know what's crazy? That doesn't even identify a single student because it's happened multiple times with different students. But this time in particular is important because I wasn't teaching, and I got so frustrated with this student that I had to leave the room. I mean, the room was in good hands, but I had to leave. In fact, it was so bad and I was so frustrated that I called my boss, the youth pastor who I was assisting, out of his high school service, because I was in junior high service, to come out and to talk to me about it. Thankfully, he wasn't teaching either. But see, I had to talk to him, and I was so upset. We had to go to a large maintenance closet to talk about this. I was frustrated. But see, he gave me a critical piece of advice that changed everything for me, and that's why I want to make this video, to tell you that same critical advice. He gave me 2 key steps for these students to deal with them, okay? Step number 1, love these students. Okay, that's great. And when you're done with that, when you're done loving them, step number 2, love them some more. And that was a critical moment of change for me. It was frustrating, honestly, to not have any ability to change the things, or at least so I thought. But that advice, love the students. And when you're done with that, keep on loving them. You see, moving students, talking to parents, those things aren't bad. But if my heart, in its deepest sense, is not for that student, guess what? It's not going to change a thing. If my heart was not for that student, it made a divide. And it reaffirmed something horrible. That guy up there, he talks for God. And he doesn't like me. The bottom line is, kids are going to be wild. And most of the time, they're going to be rotten. And that's just how it is. See, they're looking for people to be like and people to not be like. So let me ask you, are you going to be someone, when they start to mature, that they look back and say, you know what, I do want to be like that guy. I do want to be like that girl. someone who loves with patience, someone who treats people with dignity regardless of how they act, someone who treats people especially better than they deserve, who loves more than they need to, who genuinely cares for every student, not just the students who are convenient. Because let's be honest, students with behavioral challenges are inconvenient. They disrupt service, they require more personnel to be with them, and they can often be labeled as the inconvenient students. But guess what? God's put that student in your ministry for you to love them well, to be patient, to love more than you have to care more than you have to, and to not label them as inconvenient. I could tell you plenty of strategies for dealing with students with behavioral challenges, but the number one thing that makes all the difference is, where is your heart? Do you love them, and then when you're done, love them some more? Because the rest will follow. When you genuinely love these kids, their disrespect, it won't mean as much. Because you know what, they're kids. They're going to be rotten. I love them anyways. And when they start to mature, I want to be there to accept them and say, hey, here's how you start walking with Jesus for real this time. Because you know what? They're just kids. That's all there is to it. If they want to pray, even if it's going to be goofy, let them pray. We want to give positive attention and positive affirmation so that when they start getting a grip, they know, you know what? I do want to be like that guy. I do want to be like that girl. I do want to walk with Jesus. Because I saw them love and treat with dignity and respect people that they did not have to, even when I was disrespecting them. If they want to read, and you know it's going to be horrible, let them read. If they want to pray or ask questions or answer questions, even if you know it's going to be as a joke, give them that attention. Let them enter in, and eventually, they'll start doing it for real. If you love these kids, don't shy away from them. Give them all the love and attention you can. Show them that you care. And it will change. I can tell you that from experience. And you know what? The bottom line is, some of them are not going to change as quickly as others. And some of them will already be out of your ministry before they've changed. But that is not your decision to make. To love students with behavioral challenges. Just love them. And when you're done with that, love them some more. I hope you learned something in this video. If you want to know more about what it looks like to share your story of what Jesus has done in your life with youth, you can click on this video here.